What's up, Canes fans? Peter Ariz here, bringing you another 2025 prospect interview. Big one today. Luka Gilbert, one of the top tight ends in the country. We've had a couple of these tight end prospects on already, but this is a very big one, a big priority for Miami out of the Midwest. Lakota West High School in Westchester, Ohio. This is a kid who's already visited Miami once and told us in the interview that he has a couple more visits set up over the spring and summer, including an official visit. And I think Miami, he already said it in this interview as I'm revealing some things here, but he says Miami is in his top 5. So I think the Canes are in a good spot here. Just have to work him as he hopes to make a decision before his senior year. As always, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, coming out with a ton of these prospect interviews every week, including coverage of the baseball team now as the season has started, and we have spring practice coming up here in the next couple weeks as the Canes get ready to start year 3 under Mario Cristobal. But before we get to the Luka Gilbert interview, I wanted to remind you guys, as always, that this podcast is brought to you by Closure Investigative Agency. Private investigator based here in South Florida. Is your ex-partner failing to pay your child support? You deserve better. Let Closure Investigative Agency help you. Let's go get your money. Background checks, cheating spouses, corporate investigations, insurance investigations, legal investigations, employee theft investigations, domestic services, missing persons, surveillance services. Closure Investigative Agency. Contact them at 561-437-6080 or info@ciagency.net. 5-star rated on Google, and the services are available in all of the state of Florida. Check them out. Again, Closure Investigative Agency. Coming up next here on the CanesInSight podcast, top 2025 tight end prospect Luka Gilbert joins the show. All right, Canes fans and college football fans across the country, excited to be joined now by a very special guest here, Luka Gilbert, one of the top tight ends in the country for the 2025 recruiting class out of Lakota West High School in Westchester, Ohio. Luka, appreciate the time, man. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good. Just been doing some homework, honestly.
Yeah, man. Before we got on here, I just asked you what you were up to tonight. You said you were doing homework. That's the exciting stuff. But Of course, man, you're a student athlete, right? So these are the necessities that go into it.
Right. School comes first.
School comes first, and I know it's been a busy last few weeks for you with a lot of the recruiting stuff starting to heat up here, and of course into the spring now. Things are going to probably get pretty busy for you. But just talk to me about your early experience with the recruiting process and, like, did you expect things to happen this quickly? I mean, just talk to me a little bit about your overall experience thus far with the recruiting process.
So I had the privilege to have a pretty good sophomore year. So I've been being recruited since then, really. So I'm kind of almost late in the process. And so it's just really been an honor to get the notoriety that I have. And it's really thanks to my coach. He's done a lot for me, and he has a great program, and we've been doing good. So it's just been a lot of coaches, really. A lot of coaches in my school, and it's just building relationships at this point.
And, on these 247 composite rankings, number 7 tight end in the country. So that pretty much makes you a consensus top 10 type tight end. And it's very early in the process, obviously. But, I mean, when you see those sorts of things, when you see these rankings and things of that nature, I mean, what does that make you feel? Are you, like I said, not surprised by it?
Yeah.
But like you said, it's the way the recruiting process has been sped up now, right? A lot of these offers come your sophomore year, and you're, coming into going to be finishing up your junior year now. But just talk to me a little bit about kind of like how you're handling everything that's been coming at you when you do see your name, and you're getting people like us hitting you up to do these interviews and stuff like that. I mean, it's a little bit different, right?
Yeah, it's very easy to get complacent, especially when you're on the top of the line, tight end. It's very easy to be satisfied for what you have. But I'm just keeping my head down, keep working, hitting the weights hard, doing what I need to do in the classroom, and training outside of school and weights, and I'm just doing everything I need to do to be the best player I can be.
Luka, man, you're currently listed, on particular websites 6'7", 233 pounds. What are you currently measured at? And talk a little bit about your background, maybe your mom and dad,
Yeah.
where you get your height gene history from, and if you're going to continue to grow.
So I think it was 2 weeks ago. I was listed at 6'7" and 1/4, 242. That was like the exact, no shoes. That was like the exact listings. And then I really get it from my mom, but it's both of my parents. My mom is 6'1" and my dad is 6'5.5". So that's where I get it from. And my sister's tall too. She's also tall. So it's really my whole family.
Wow. So, I mean, the
Yeah.
height definitely goes in the family, man. And
Right.
obviously, you being as tall as you are, playing football, in this realm of high school sports, you got to be at least a dual or triathlete, right? And someone with your measurables, obviously basketball is right up there with you as well. Talk a little bit about the game of basketball and what it has done for you to kind of help you in your ability to take it onto the football field. Because as you know, Miami had a great tight end in the past that played basketball and football for the University of Miami, and Jimmy Graham. So talk a little bit about what the game of basketball has done for you on the football field.
Right. I truly believe that every sport, every other sport besides your main sport helps. It's just really competing, and that's what it comes down to. I'm the most competitive dude you'll ever see, and really my whole life has came around competing with my friends in the backyard to on the football field to my class rank in school, like everything. But it also helps in areas like rebounding and staying athletic. I'm obviously a pretty big dude, so I'm usually the 5, and I gotta guard all the small little point guards and everything. So staying agile and everything. So it definitely helps in many ways.
Luke, I'll bring up the basketball clips. I have them loaded here, ready. I got to talk a little bit more about your game. I got to see what's in the bag a little bit. But here we're showing obviously your football clips. These are from your junior year, and the first couple clips right off the bat that already played, you're really showcasing your blocking ability. So you're not letting that basketball player, kind of creep onto the football field, so to speak. Obviously, those guys who convert get a bad rap sometimes. Some people say, oh, that they don't have the physical toughness and all that. Just talk to me about, again, as we're seeing these clips, the mentality that you bring to the field at the tight end position. We know that it's a position where a lot of guys these days are glorified wide receivers, but it looks like you take pride in really getting your nose dirty. And I mean, look at this. You're playing out of the backfield as an H-back, at times. So just talk to me a little bit about your role as a tight end and where that physicality comes from.
I really do take pride in my blocking, and I think that comes from the practice and how I'm utilized on the field. So in practice, I'm with the O-line and the receivers, and luckily this year I have a tight end coach. But last year I was spending some time with the O-line, and I just dove deep, embraced it, learned how to block, learned how to stay wide. And as big as I am, it's hard to stay low. But I just embraced it, and I learned how to block it. And you can see on the film that I'm gonna make dudes pay out there. That's probably my specialty in my game, honestly, right now.
Well, listen, that'll get you paid definitely down the line. So,
yes, sir.
So keep that up. That's something that the league looks at very closely, and all these college coaches, man, they want to see versatility from that position, obviously, and that's shown on film. Let's get a little bit into your recruitment as your clips continue to play here. Have you kind of figured out, or I don't want to say figured out because it's tough to say, anyone's got to figure it out at this point of the process, but have you started to kind of say, all right, when I look at these schools, these are the certain things that I really need to see from them? I mean, and if you have, just talk to us a little bit about what those things are.
So it's actually funny. My dad has a spreadsheet of like all the different categories and like how every school ranks up with each other. But Some of the things are education. That's a big part for me. My whole life I've been a pretty solid student. So it's not the next 4 years is the next 40 years, and that's what they say. And I truly believe that. So Miami's obviously got a great education, which is big for me. And then it's also how you're utilized as a tight end a lot. And Coach Woodle does a great job with the tight ends there, 12, 13 personnel, and it's just awesome. I could definitely see myself fitting in the way they play and everything. So that's big for me as well.
Luke, I gotta say, man, before we started talking to you, just going based off the profile, the measurables, I was skeptical on seeing how you are from a competitive mindset, right? And as soon as you started speaking, competitive, obviously number one, the way you want to be utilized, how physical you are, the mindset of how you carry yourself, and just the calm demeanor of you don't necessarily have cockiness, but you're very strong-willed and of what you believe in and how you approach when you say things. Who do you give credit that to? I know obviously your mom and dad, have a lot of competitive edge to themselves as well. Where do you get all that from, and just how you carry yourself to the next level?
Honestly, I'd say my coach,
Okay.
Coach Bolden. He's great. I try to be just like him in the way that I act and act on the football field too. He was a hell of a football player, but I just try to embody how he acts towards others, and he's also the most competitive dude you'll ever see. So I just try to follow him.
Now, I know education is very important to you. Obviously, how you're utilized at the next level. But talk a little bit about, I know family, your mom and dad and your sister, obviously, but I know with the staff in particular, they're very big on making you and your family feel like at home. I know you took a unofficial not too long ago to Miami. Talk a little bit about that and how they made you feel at home, and maybe some specific coaches or players that kind of introduced you to Coral Gables that really made you feel welcome.
I'd say it's the three of Coach Woodle, Coach Crutch, and Coach Cristobal. I mean, they did an awesome job with me when I was down there. I was with me, my mom, and my dad, and it was an awesome time. Got to see the whole campus really, and I really see it like a home away from home. And I got to get out the weather, so that was nice too.
I was going to ask you about that because obviously
20
Coral
degrees
Gables, yeah, so it's 20 degrees currently right now. And I mean, a few weeks ago, January, it's probably even colder, right? So
yeah,
just talk to me about how different it was. But I mean, look, some Midwest guys, they're Midwest, they're small town guys. They want to stay in the Midwest. Do you see yourself being able to fit in a place like Miami, like Coral Gables? And what does that big city, feel kind of appeal to you?
I don't really look as much as like the big city. I don't really mind that as much because it's more of a private school, anyways. Like only 9,000 students on campus. It's really a private school setting. But I look at more like the length, the distance. So obviously it's far, but they also have direct flights twice a day, which I take into consideration versus like other places where there's no flights and you just have to drive 5-6 hours. So like I take everything into consideration.
Or you have to fly and then drive a couple more hours.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that seems to be how it is around the Midwest there. But again, looking at this recruiting process for you, I mean, have you said to yourself, I want to have my decision made by this time. I want to do it before the season so I don't have to worry about it. I want to do it in December, in signing day or early signing day. Has the timeline crossed your mind at all?
Yeah, it's definitely been on my mind, and I just really got to take it all in, make sure I know that where I go is where I'm truly meant to be, and I'm probably gonna make a decision early summer or late spring. That's where I'm leaning towards. But really, just these next couple of weeks, I'm gonna go to a couple places which I'm heavily considering. Miami being one of them. I'm going to go to some practices, and then I'll go to a couple of official visits probably. And then probably after official visits, I'll think about making my decision.
So is that Miami visit going to be an official when you come down here again, or is that going to be another unofficial? Have you figured that out?
I think honestly both.
Okay, so a couple visits, it looks like, slated to come down to South Florida. All right, cool.
Yes,
awesome stuff. Luka, man, obviously, bringing back your measurables, man, when you turn on the tape, you're physically there. when you talk about the ball being in the air, you could catch it low, you could catch it high. One thing I want to ask you about, what are you going into your next following season to work on your get off, getting off the line of scrimmage, working on your route running? Because obviously, as you know, with someone your size and measurables, yeah, you're listed as tight end, but there could be opportunities there where someone might want to use you in the red zone. And as you can see, playing on Sundays, a tight end that could be utilized as a wide receiver as well is just another tool that you could bring to your game. So how do you use that to work on your game this upcoming season?
Yeah, honestly, I'm just gonna try to be utilized however I can to win with my team. But as far as like what I'm trying to work on, I'd say guys my size usually struggle to be agile and move around quickly, getting low, getting high, everything. I'm really just focusing on my body and making sure I'm the most agile I can be, and hopefully it'll translate to the football field in this next year.
Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead. I was going to pull up the basketball clips after so you could see some of the agility in action.
I was going to say, I mean, obviously you playing basketball and football, there's certain times you don't want to overwork yourself in the weight room, but as far as, benching and squatting and all that, what's kind of where you're at currently?
My bench, I haven't maxed in a while. I've just been doing like 6 reps for like however much I could do. And I've been hitting the weights hard these past, really since the season ended, it started, I was hitting the weights hard. So I've just been doing good in the weight room. I'd say, I don't know exact numbers, but probably like 225 for 6 maybe.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I like it.
And also, I'm not like trying to make excuses. I'm big on not making excuses, but I do got to go farther with my wingspan.
That's
the
true.
long arms, man. The long arms. And listen, at the end of the day, the bench press is an overrated. I'm an NFL agent, and I deal with the combine process every year. The combine has very important aspects to it, but the bench press is probably one of the least important parts of the entire evaluation process. And look, we'll bring up the basketball clips here because we've been talking about it. I don't know if I can make it any bigger than this, but we're gonna have to deal with it. I mean, let's talk about the game. You already spoke about it a little bit. I see a set jump shot. It looks like stretch 5. You have to defend the interior, but then you're asked to play some perimeter offensively. Just talk to me about the game a little bit.
Just doing what I can to win. I think this game against Middletown, this purple team, our best player was out. So I knew I had to step up, and I was just trying to do what I could do to win, really.
And there it is. There's the interior defense right there, showing some of that toughness. And spot up corner. I don't know if that's a 3, but you have the 3-point range, or you a mid-range guy?
Honestly, I'm more comfortable from the 3-point range than the mid-range.
Okay.
Mid-range, like when I'm in the game, I don't even know how to describe it, but like I get like so physical, like bodying dudes down low that like my touch gets off. And so then when I'm like shooting threes, I'm like more comfortable than maybe a 10-footer from the mid-range,
So it's either you're set shooting, or if I'm dribbling, I'm going right to the paint, I'm bullying you.
Right. Yeah.
Well, look, we're seeing the clips here. The Canes have not had a good year in basketball. They should bounce back next year. I have a big recruiting class in basketball, but who knows, man? Maybe if you end up at Miami,
I heard
they're streaky, and I'll tell you what, they need some size. Yeah. So that's the biggest thing, man. You never know.
I was actually at one of the games. I went to a game when I was down there with my family, and I watched it. They won, but I could tell, like,
trying to think what game that was. You were down here in January.
The 29th to the 27th, right? Of January.
It was Pitt.
It was Pitt. That was a good game. Yeah. They ended up closing that one out at the end.
Yep.
Pitt actually battled back into that one. They did not blow that game. So look, when you have another visit soon, the season will probably over. I was going to say you brought some good luck, but I don't know. I don't think they'll be in season when you come down to Coral Gables again. Just a couple more things here before we let you go, Luka. You've talked about the Miami visit and all that. Some of the other places that you're slated to go see coming up here.
I'd say my top 5 right now is Miami, obviously, and then Ohio State, Kentucky, Michigan, and Iowa. So those are probably some of the schools I'll be taking some practice visits to. Just check out a practice, see how I like the coach, their style, everything. Everything goes into mine. And those are probably some of the I don't have an exact schedule yet. That's really what my mom's up to. That's like her big job. She takes pride in all the scheduling and stuff. So I let her do that. But those are probably some of the schools I'll be looking to go to.
And you recently got offered by Texas A&M in Florida as well, right?
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. I just want the listeners to be aware of that as well.
Yeah.
You know, we have some big Cane fans that don't like our rivals. So
yeah,
anytime we can throw a jab, we'll do it. But one thing I want to ask you, man, I ask every recruit that we interview here on is this one particular question, and obviously with your competitive edge, I'm expecting to get a really good answer from you. But what, in your particular mind, what does the word dog mean to you on and off the football field?
Dog is what comes out when you're tired. I feel like everybody's going to be great when you're feeling good in beginning of the game, first quarter, but I feel like the real dog comes out overtime, fourth quarter. That's when the real dog comes out. Who's the toughest mentally when you're tired?
Not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting that answer, and when you did, it was refreshing to hear. I like that. There's a big reason why Mario and the staff likes you, man. It's definitely coming across this interview.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Luka Gilbert, great time talking to you tonight. One of the top players at your position in the country, and this is my prediction. I think that ranking is going to continue to rise, man, as the season goes on and as the circuit goes on. The spring, I don't know if you have any camps that you're planning to go to, but I have a feeling that if you do that and as the process plays out, the rankings will continue to rise, and should be fun to see your journey continue to go on.
It's gonna be fun. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely, Luka, man.